Hey gang, Uncle Todd and Sonny here, and we are looking at the mid-season opener for Wednesday, in which we find her still in a coma, or in a coma from the injury she sustained being thrown out a upper story window onto a cobblestone driveway. And while there, she is alone. She wakes up where she sees Principal Weems. That's odd. She's dead. She gets up and goes out the door and finds herself in this forest with desks and chairs and a couple more doors, and Weems is there. Obviously, this is not reality. She's having a vision. Turns out Weems is her new spiritual advisor. Now, there's a question Wednesday has about that, because spiritual advisors have to be a relation that is passed on. And it turns out Weems is a distant cousin of the Adamses, which makes her infatuation with Gomez a little questionable. Maybe they're like fifth or sixth cousins, so that wouldn't have been that big a deal. But anyways, and she tells her that she can't get her psychic ability back until she admits, how does she put it, until she accepts who she is. And this means not keeping things from everybody, not lying to her family and Enid and stuff, being more open, basically. Which makes a little sense, because psychic ability is sort of kind of vulnerable and opening up to other people. Anyway, we then cut to a press conference by Judy, who you remember was the avian from the early part of the season, and she's making the sad announcement that because of the deaths and the escapes of Fester, Tyler, and the zombie, aka Slurp, that they are having to ship all the other patients to other facilities and close down Willoughby, or Willow Hill. No, Willoughby, yeah. And she then learns that Wednesday actually did wake up. So while she's heading over to the hospital, she calls a man she has hunting. Now she doesn't want to. She wants all the escaped experiment patients captured and returned to her. Most importantly is patient 138, who was the woman that Wednesday helped escape. More on her later. Anyway, she brings a housewarming present or whatnot to Wednesday, who's getting ready to leave, and they have a little threaten back and forth, And Wednesday learns she really wants to know where patient 1938 is. Why? Well, she's not going to say. A couple more threats, and then Wednesday leaves. At which point she gets a delivery of some dead flowers and a note saying, "Tonight, you and Enid die." It's from Tyler. And she spots him, but loses him in the hallways. Oh, we also learn that Bianca's mom, who you remember they got away from the police last mid-season, that they are hiding her in the disused dorms, classrooms, that area of Nevermore. And Ajax, or is it Axel? Can't remember. I think it's Ajax, but I could be wrong. Let's see here. Ajax. I was right the first time. Ajax. Okay. Ajax is a little worried because the leader of the cult seems to be getting closer to Nevermore. But Bianca thinks they're okay as long as he doesn't know she's there. Okay. Meanwhile, Wednesday and Enid have a big of a fight. Wednesday wants Enid to go back home for a while until Tyler's caught, and she refuses. She beat Tyler once before, but it's mid-moon cycle, not a full moon. She can't turn into a werewolf, so she's vulnerable. But she has the pack, so Enid disagrees. There's also the Day of the Dead celebration starting that day. And at this point, Weems finds out Dort is in charge, someone she would have never had at the academy as an administrator, or as a teacher, much less an administrator. And they're going to be having a remembrance celebration that night. Everybody's going to gather and remember those that have passed. And Wednesday wants him to not do it. Tyler is still on the loose, and he says, "Well, no, it's okay. He's been assured Tyler's left the area, and besides, they have high walls, and they have the biggest conglomeration of outsiders there, so there should be no problem." No problem. You also learn that Principal Weems will not be part of the remembrance. He's trying to cut her completely out of the history for all the problems she caused. To which Weems is like, "Oh, you hire one homicidal normie and suddenly you're blacklisted." That's a good joke. She also learns that one of the reasons Weems is, or Dort, my cloud cover disappeared. Anyway, she learns that Capri, the new music teacher, is also on hand to help if Tyler shows up. She's got experience with hides. Really? So Wednesday does some research and then goes to talk to Weems, or Capri. And as it turns out, Capri's boyfriend was shot down by police for attacking her. Turns out he was a Hyde. She hadn't realized that when they were together. And his master fell in love with him, as she had fallen in love with him, and ordered him to kill her. But he killed his master instead, which made him go berserk, and that's why the police shot him down. And Wednesday asks her, what happens to a Hyde once they don't have a master? Well, it seems that they will start to deteriorate in health, go insane, and then die. Has a Hyde ever gotten a second master? I haven't heard of one. Who'd be crazy enough to try? 2 guesses, and the first one doesn't count. Tyler is hiding in the sewers, where he has a vision of his father telling him to give himself up. Well, he doesn't want to hear that, but the hunter does track him down, and Tyler hides out. I think it's Tyler. Well, a Hyde kills him. And then later Slurp comes by and eats his brains and whatnot. Where he also finds the pictures that the hunter had of the missing experimental patients, and he locks on to patient 1938. Let's see. Where are we at now? Wednesday goes through the Thornhill files, and she's looking at the formula that Thornhill made. And Morticia comes in, and she senses a presence, very reminiscent of the feeling she used to get from Weems. Wednesday doesn't say anything. Oh, she doesn't insult Weems, but she doesn't tell her mother. That's her new spiritual advisor. And she also realizes what Wednesday's going to try and do, and tries to tell her, that's very dangerous. You really shouldn't do that. You're messing with stuff that you really don't have a good lock on. Wednesday's not going to listen. Meanwhile, Enid, while talking with her boyfriend, Bruno? I think it was Bruno. Go down through here. Door. Slurp. Bruno. Yeah, Bruno. And at the time she realizes what she has to do and sends Thing out to call all the nightshades to a meeting. Now remember, the nightshades were disbanded by Dort. Now, Ajax receiving his invitation, which he leaves behind, is seen by Agnes in her invisible state. Now, meanwhile, Pugsley's convinced Gomez to help him search for Slurp. He raised him from the dead. He's responsible, and he doesn't want him shot down by the police. So they head out into the woods and start to look for him, and they don't have much luck. Then, after spending the whole day, they decide, okay, we've done all we can do. We're going to have to call it quits here. Pugsley's a little sad by that, but he has to agree his father's right. And then they run into people going to the Pilgrim World, or Pilgrim Land, Spookfest. Well, hey, it's a Spookfest. They might have some enjoyment there. So they head over where they're doing Day of the Dead type stuff, in which the head, as it was dressed up in, Mexican apparel, and Gomez finds she doesn't speak Spanish. So he's got a pretty good idea how this thing's going to run. Oh, and Slurp shows up too. A lot of people feeling peckish. Enid shows up at the Nightshades meeting, and Ajax is upset. You're not a Nightshade. She says, I was in line until Dort disbanded it. So technically, I think I can call this meeting. And then Wednesday shows up and says, hey, what are you going to do when Tyler shows up? Do you have a plan? No, I do. She tells them the plan. They go out to get ready, and Wednesday goes to make Thornhill's formula, which Weems tells her, you can't control him. This is very dangerous. There's no guarantee you can even get close to him enough with that syringe. Don't do this. Wednesday scoffs. Oh, how did she know about the meeting? Agnes told her. And okay. Now, well, everyone gathers for the remembrance ceremony. Slurp starts attacking people in the spook house, causing a panic, and the police are called. Now, they had set up in front of Nevermore to catch Tyler when he arrives, because they know who he's heading after, and they found the hunter's body. So they head out for the fest, thinking, okay, we've got a spotting of the zombie, we got to take care of that, which allows Tyler to enter the grounds. Pugsley, realizing it's Slurp in there, runs into the spook house, finds Slurp, who can now talk. He's eaten enough brains that he's now almost completely human. And he asks, and about that time the police also arrived, so you're hearing the megaphones, come out with your hands up, that whole thing. And Slurp thanks Puglsley for bringing him back to life, for protecting him and looking out for him and helping him to feed, but he has to let him go. And then Gomez sees Slurp leave through the back while Puglsley comes out the front saying, "It's just me, no one else is in there." And Gomez says, "It's okay, son. Some things just aren't meant to be," and takes him home. Morticia is getting ready to go to the remembrance when patient 1938 shows up and talks to her. They knew each other at school. She's Tyler's mother. She's looking for Tyler. Well, Morticia knows where he's going to be, but she wants to have some certain guarantees first. So, Tyler spots Enid, and he starts chasing her. Well, she leads him to an abandoned building where the rest of the nightshades are waiting. And while they're taunting Tyler, who's having trouble maintaining control, and starts to hide out, as it were, Wednesday tries to come up behind him and get him with the formula, but he turns around and knocks her away, starts beating up the rest of the nightshades, starts heading towards Enid. Wednesday distracts him, and she's ready to stab him when he charges, when another hide breaks through one of the boarded up windows and tackles him. And then this other hide is going to take out Wednesday, but Morticia shows up and says, "Hey, we had an agreement." The other hide looks at her, nods, and takes Tyler with her. And Morticia explains, yes, that is Tyler's mother. She was the patient you helped. And they made an agreement. If I led her to Tyler, she'd take him out of Jericho forever. They will be together. Not here. Which really ticks off Wednesday. Nobody interferes with her plans, which is one of the reasons she's having trouble with her psychic abilities. She can't allow herself to be vulnerable. And Weems was pointing out that Wednesday does have feelings for Tyler. Wednesday says, "I hate him." That's a feeling. As is grief, condemnation, and love. Wednesday can't admit she still cares for Tyler, that he is basically her first love. They kissed after all. Anyways, let's see what happens there. When Morticia arrives back at her residence at Nevermore, Gomez comes in. He recognized who Slurp is. It's a student they went to school with named Isaac. Isaac turns up at Judy's house. He wants to have a word with her. Remember me? It's Isaac. Oh, don't know what that's about, but And we end with Enid practicing ballet when she suddenly changes into a wolf and runs off, which is a slight problem because it's a crescent moon, not a full moon. Just that little sliver. How is that possible? A Capri Caesar do it. Now, there was also a moment where someone, during all the action and stuff, was listening to a police band. And I thought it was Thornhill, but I'm pretty sure Thornhill's dead. Or is she? This is stuff that gets really complicated in this show because death isn't an end here. It's too gothic for that. But a really good episode. I was surprised that Judy Spangman had survived. I thought she had gotten cooked when Fester shocked her and threw her into the transformer, but apparently her abilities are such that she can survive that. I'm interested in some of the things going on. I don't like that Wednesday and Enid are still fighting. I thought they had come to an understanding last season, but Wednesday seems to be regressing, and that happens. You know, they spent a couple semesters apart while the place was being redone, and as teenagers get older, they do change, and so what was once friends can then become just acquaintances. And Enid is heading on a different path. She's now part of a wolf pack, so. But I was hoping they'd be friends again. This is very much like Spin and Marty, the old Mickey Mouse Club serial, where they were best friends, but they always ended up throughout their things having a falling out. In the second season, it was over Annette Funicello, who wouldn't have a falling out over her, you know. But yeah, it's very reminiscent of that they're friends, but they just oil and water, you know. And I was so sure that patient 1938 was going to turn out to be Morticia's sister. But no, it's Tyler's mother, which was a good plot twist. I didn't see that coming. So that was good. And I like the fact that Weems hates the new principal, and the principal is trying to wipe her entire history from the school, as he tries to remake the school into something I think it's not meant to be. And I think he's going to have a comeuppance too. Anyways, pretty good episode. Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.